A teen wanted 4 volunteer hours for less than 1 hour of work. A teenager asked me to sign off on 4 volunteer hours, even though I barely saw him work. Last Saturday, I helped organize a community cleanup near our local park. A lot of high school students showed up because they needed volunteer hours for school. The rules were simple. You sign in when you arrive, help with the cleanup, and at the end, I sign a form showing how many hours you actually worked. About 15 minutes after we started, a teenage boy arrived with his mom. He signed in, grabbed a trash bag and some gloves, took a couple of photos near the supply table, and headed toward the trail. At least that's what it looked like, because about 20 minutes later, he was gone. I didn't think much of it at first. I figured he might be helping another group somewhere else in the park. But as the morning went on, every team kept checking in with me and turning in bags of trash, and I never saw him again. Then, around 12:30, when we were already wrapping up, he suddenly reappeared, holding an iced coffee. His mom walked straight up to me and handed me a school volunteer form. Then she asked me to sign off on 4 hours. I told her I couldn't do that. As far as I knew, he had been there for less than an hour. I said I'd be comfortable signing for 45 minutes or maybe 1 hour, but definitely not 4. She immediately got defensive. She claimed he had been helping somewhere farther down the trail. I told her that if one of the team leaders could confirm that, I'd happily sign for more time, but nobody could. Then she lowered her voice and told me he desperately needed the hours for a school requirement. Otherwise, he could get into trouble. I told her I understood, but I wasn't comfortable signing paperwork for hours that weren't actually worked. The entire time, the teenager just stood there staring at his phone without saying a word. That's when his mom accused me of humiliating him in public. Honestly, there were barely any people around. I wasn't calling him lazy. I wasn't trying to embarrass him. I simply refused to sign for 4 hours when I had no reason to believe he worked 4 hours. In the end, I signed for 1 hour. His mom grabbed the form, and they both left the park looking furious. Now, part of me wonders if I should have just signed it and moved on. But another part of me feels like volunteer hours stop meaning anything if people can show up, take a picture, disappear, and still get full credit. So, was I wrong?